And they're just getting the course ready now for the first car. The first car we're going to see is Jeff Zwart. Once again, Jeff not far behind, really, in second position as we see him here.
Oh, he's got 6 stages to go today. He's hoping to make some time back on the Sprongl brothers.
Well, we wish him the best in that. We had a chance to talk to Jeff just before we got underway in this stage, and here are some of the things he had to say. Jeff, you won this rally 2 years ago. What do you think it'll take to win it this year?
Something to happen to the Audi, basically.
Do they have that much of an advantage on you?
They have a good advantage on us right now, and I'm trying to sell my car, so I don't want to damage it out here.
You can do the hockey thing, though, and hope that the car wins, get better value for the car.
Yeah, well, that's what we would like, but the Audi's going really quick, and the conditions were really slippery last night. Slipperiest rally I've ever run.
Really?
So consistently it was slippery.
How did you find the fog affecting your driving?
Really not very much. There were a couple of very foggy sections, but other than that, it really wasn't that foggy.
One of the things I wanted to ask you about, you travel all this way for this rally. You came up from California.
Yeah.
How do you find the support different in the States here, and then do you drive in Europe as well?
No, I haven't driven in Europe, but this rally is so well run. It really goes one stage after another. It's very consistent. There's not a lot of problems, and the roads are some of the best in North America. It's really enjoyable. That's why I decided to come back up here.
What are some of the things that differentiate this rally then from others, aside from road conditions?
It's a very nice rally. And for me, last year running the championship in the United States, it's kind of fun to come run a no-pressure rally and just go out and have a good time.
This was Rally of the Year last year. What kind of things determine a rally to be that heralded?
Organization and the roads. When you have this great of roads combined with this great of organization, that makes it really great because there's lots of potential problems in running a rally. And when you don't have those problems, that's a credit to the organization.
Well, we wish you good luck today, Jeff, and hope that we don't want to hope that the Audi develops problems. We hope the car runs well.
I don't want that. He's doing a great job, so we'll see how the day ends up.
All right, take care.
Okay, thanks.
Well, as impressed as Jeff is with the organization, I think spectators are impressed by his driving here. He's doing some fairly spectacular work.
Sure is. He's got that four-wheel drive humming right through here, Paul.
He's got some really tight corners in here. You were talking about how much steering and how much work they actually have to do through this stage.
Well, the idea of the spectator stage, of course, is to get the spectators something to look at. And if you have them going too fast and the wrong kind of roads, they don't get a real close look at the cars.
Really close to the action here, too. This is one of those sports where you can actually be fairly close.
Yes, we take good precautions here with marshals as you see them with the yellow bibs on to make sure that nobody gets in the wrong position. And generally, people that follow motorsport are pretty cautious.
This is Drabowski. We were talking about, we'd hinted at car troubles beforehand. What kind of trouble has he been experiencing?
I guess he's had some electronic problems with the fuel system, Paul, and I'm not sure if he's going to get it totally sorted out, but he's such a strong competitor, he'll give it all the rest of the event, I'm sure, anyway.
What are some of the advantages that this particular car would have for him in this type of course?
Well, with the turbo power and the all-wheel drive, he's up there with the people with that kind of advantage also. And they've had a chance to actually walk through this stage just before the start, which gives them a little leg up on some of the competitors.
People are probably picking up driving tips as they go here, noticing some of the steering. This might not be a real good time to be watching. This is Sean Bishop having just a bit of trouble negotiating a corner.
Yeah, he's got a lot on his mind right now. Unfortunately, Sean has blown a turbo on leg one, and they worked all night to replace it. But as you can see, he's still developed some oil consumption problems. And so it does detract from your concentration when you're trying to drive 100%.
How much of a fun element is there for someone like Sean driving through this rally? I realize some of it is serious, but how much fun is he having?
Well, it depends on your definition of fun, I guess, Paul. Driving roads that are unknown to you with a companion in the car, you're right on the edge. You're driving 10/10 all the time, and that adrenaline rush is something that I suppose that's what makes it the most fun.
When you're looking at a road like you're seeing for the first time and you're trying to drive as all out as possible, what are some of the things you're thinking as you approach, say, a corner that you're not sure of? What are some of the things that go through your mind?
A lot of the cars, Paul, are actually looking to see what tracks the other cars in front of them left. And as you know, the cars leave in a seated order, which generally means the fastest guys are in the front. So they leave tracks, and you kind of piggyback on some of their experience sometimes. Sometimes it can be disastrous also, but on a track like this, I think that, as you can see, the tracks just lay ahead, that you can use those to your advantage.
Well, the Sprongls here do everything their own way, too. They've been taking corners exactly the way they like. For example,
It looks like we're a little bit off the beaten track here, and that's fairly common when you're trying to drive 10-10s also, Paul.
this particular car, the Sprongl's driving, we were talking about how this car is so strong for them and how it does stay on the road very well. Is that only the all-wheel drive, or is that a combination of car technology and driver?
It's a matter of preparation, and the more time, and even sometimes in dollars, the time and dollars spent in preparation really show up because these things go for 12, 14 hours at a stretch over 1 or 2 days, and they see all different kinds of terrain. You've got to have something that's going to take the advantage.
There's another good example of a rear-wheel drive car doing some spectacular corner work. This is Dascollas again, and we had looked at his in-car footage before, and in just a few moments we'll have a chance to look at the in-car footage from Dave Clark.
You get a little different perspective from the rear-wheel drive of George's car to the front-wheel drive of Dave Clark's car. And there's some subtle differences in how you approach the corner, how you leave the corner for that matter.
He's approaching these corners and swinging that rear wide, just like you said they would with a rear-wheel drive car.
It's a technique known to most drivers as the pendulum. And what you do is you have to get the rear end sliding. A little bit of a faux pas there with the car stalling. It's pretty slippery there.
Well, let's take a look then at what it looks like in a front-wheel drive vehicle.
As Dave and Lynn take off on the spectator stage, Paul, you hardly know it, but there's a lot of pavement under here, but there's enough dirt and mud sliding across the road to make it real slippery.
Just how slippery is real slippery, John?
I think Dave's about to show us.
There you go.
Doesn't matter what kind of rubber is on your car there, and you got that much mud on the road, it's hard to keep traction.
There's a piece of tape on the steering wheel here, John, and you pointed that out to me before. What is that for as a driver?
It serves a couple of purposes, Paul. One is to give it the top of the steering wheel location for the driver should he start getting into some difficulty. And also, whenever he has a minor off-road excursion, bumps one of the tires or whatever, it can help you to determine that you've got an alignment problem. You're going to adjust your driving accordingly, and you're also going to, when you get to your next service point, you're going to try and get it fixed, of course.
I know in Europe they're used to having spectators stand in a lot of various stages. Is that a distraction for you as a driver if you're approaching a corner and you see spectators? Do you take that into account, or do you let them pretty well take care of themselves?
I think the norm in North America, Paul, is that whenever there's spectators, there's something about the road or the road conditions to be wary of. And if there's no caution instruction in the instruction booklet that Lynn is showing us there, you better just drive maybe just accordingly and make sure that you aren't caught unaware of it.
Spectators looking for some spectacular corners, essentially, is that the logic behind the driver's thinking?
You bet. Wherever there's some good action, the spectator wants to find his vantage point.
One of the things we're hearing in the background is instructions pretty well essentially being shouted from co-pilot to pilot here. What are they saying?
Well, there's a number of instructions in this special stage, and the driver and co-driver both have an intercom system, and she's telling them about the corners and when they're coming up. Also, you might have noticed that there are a number of arrows on the corners, so there shouldn't be any way that the driver can go off course on this stage. Just coming around the final corner looking for the flagman on the left. The flag goes down, the time is taken, the car goes to a stop, and we're finished that spectator stage. He now takes off on a transit section.
We're back to the track. This is Tim Bendle in the Pontiac Fiero. The technical term for what's happened to Tim is he's been time barred.
That's right, Paul. Due to a problem in their electronic fuel injection system in the fuel bump circuit, the car did not make it to the start of stage one yesterday, but the organizer has granted that because of the short field, and it's quite a spectacle to see this car in action, that they've put him at the back of the pack, and he's running for the fun of it today.
There's no pressure on him. He's having a good time, obviously. He wishes he were part of the competition. But
that's for sure. Tim, as you probably know, is a past Canadian champion. The car has not had a great finishing record,